All right, I'll go ahead and get started. Today we're going over sovereignty. Here's the obligatory disclaimer. A reminder, come into these sessions with best open mind and heart. We know one thing that we've learned that is absolute. I am, I exist. Everything else is in flux. Up to now. Here's a WhatsApp chat update for those who are not in the chat and watching from YouTube. You can go ahead and pause the video on these slides to have updates on what we did during the week. All right, now I'll open it up to anyone in chat who would like to throw out anything about their progress, any experiences or insights or aha moments that they may have had during the week by doing any of our practices. All right, none for today. That's fine. This monkey's about to make me laugh. Okay, we've got an understanding of what we are not in our first session and second session. We've got an understanding that we can use permission slips to help us. Different people have different permission slips. The normal everyday wording for this is some things work for some people, some things don't. We've got an awareness of the ways negativity slips into our lives. That's what we looked into over the week with our definitions, labels, etc. So now let's try to head into some positivity. But first, opening grounding meditation. Going into the meditation, go ahead and visualize a space that feels safe and relaxing. Let's begin by arriving fully into this space and into ourselves. Make sure you're comfortable in whatever position you're in. If you're sitting, make sure your spine is tall, feet are grounded, hands are resting gently. Go ahead and close your eyes or let your gaze soften on the screen. Go ahead and let the outside world soften. Let's go ahead and take a slow, steady breath in through your nose and a gentle exhale through your mouth. One more breath in and release. Let each breath be a signal to your system saying, I am here, I am safe, I am present. Bring your awareness to the center of your chest. Imagine your energy gathering inward, no longer scattered or stretched. With each breath, draw your power back into your center. Away from what others expect, away from performance, away from trying to be anything but you. Feel yourself arriving inside yourself. You are the authority here, the one who chooses. Say to yourself, I return to myself. I remember who holds the pen to my story. Gently bring to mind a belief or story about yourself that you've been carrying. Don't judge it, just notice. Maybe it says, I can't, or I should, or it's too late. Go ahead and breathe into it. See how it feels in the body. Ask it quietly. Is this mine, or did I inherit it? Does this expand me, or contract me? And if it no longer serves, say to yourself, I allow something truer to take its place. Now bring something to your mind that lights you up. Even if it's just a little, a pull, a curiosity, a spark. Something you'd do if no one ever saw. Feel it in your chest or belly, that tiny flame. This is you. Not loud, not forced, but alive. Breathe into it. Let it glow quietly in you. Begin to bring your awareness back to the room. Go ahead and try to maintain this state as we go into the session. Take a final deep breath in and exhale fully. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. You've arrived, grounded, aware, and ready to be. So what is sovereignty? We typically have the idea of the definition of a ruler of some sort. And in general, it's a self-governing state. In spiritual use, we refer to it as the autonomy, authority an individual has over their spiritual life and choices. Sovereignty is not isolation or resistance. It's reclaiming authorship over your emotional and mental and energetic space. Right? You are not a passenger. You are the driver. Those guys are your passengers helping you drive. Yeah. They've got the maps. They're telling you where there's a road bump if you're not seeing it. How to recognize when you're acting from someone else's expectations. Why sovereignty is a felt frequency before it's a behavior. We'll come to recognize these in the upcoming slides. And then some of you might have the question, why are we sovereign? But before we dive into this, into positivity, we'll maybe want a justification for positivity. So now's a good time for some spiritual knowledge to help reinforce the positive beliefs. So we know we are the witness, the awareness, consciousness, and that this is true, the true core self, and that this knowing is a core truth. But where does the awareness come from? And then side note, this core truth can be called something else, which I'll now introduce as the concept of laws of existence, or the true nature that lies outside of the realities within it. These laws never change, no matter your perspective, dimension, reality, realm, level, frequency, what have you. So now we are introducing the soul. Our awareness, our consciousness comes from our soul through the underlying structures that create the experienced physical reality. Soul is your eternal, indestructible self, the consciousness that chose to have a human experience. It is unbound from our concepts of space and time. That's why we say you're not your thoughts, roles, personality, trauma, or history. You're the unchanging awareness beneath it all. It's the part of you that always remembers who you are, even when your mind forgets. Soul experiences through you, not apart from you. The soul generates you and your reality within itself. There is no soul in the body. Your body is within your soul. Your reality is within your soul. I have here a sort of image I mocked up. Souls are spherical in nature. And at the center, when it chooses to have a 3D experience, it creates a crystallized core where all your experience is within this core. Your reality is within this core. I'm feeling the need to hover this for a second. Just contemplate how you feel about this. Does it resonate within you? Can you feel your own image overtaking this? I feel mine. So where does sovereignty come from? It's because your soul is sovereign. It doesn't need permission to exist or be worthy. Existence is a law, universal creation law, fundamental quality. This is why I am and I exist are powerful. Soul can't be wounded, only veiled from your perception. This veil is by choice. Your soul's path is uniquely yours. Comparison is irrelevant. Sovereignty begins when you act from soul alignment, not from fear, people pleasing, or programming. Your soul chooses experiences to evolve. Every wound you've carried becomes a doorway to remembrance. Every lesson, every challenge. Challenges are not punishments, they are invitations to uncover your strength. Healing isn't fixing the soul, it's removing the noise that covers it. You are not behind. You are exactly where your soul needs to be to access the next layer of growth. The soul expands through its experience through you, through building lifetimes, experiencing realities, etc. Due to the timeless nature of existence of the soul, one of the best ways for it to improve is by stripping away its higher connections and what it knows and inserting itself into 3D realities or other realities. Hence, here we are. Recommended reading is the Quran. It's a ancient text from early Indian epistemology and metaphysics. And one Quran 34, virtue alone is the true wealth that accompanies the soul beyond death. By virtue, we're seeing experience, how you were able to grow despite any challenges that you faced in life. Those are the things we take with us after this life. The soul communicates with us all the time, even though we haven't been taught how this is done. For the most part, it's through emotion, energy, and resonance. You feel alignment as the higher frequency emotions, truth, pull, as in you feel the need to go a certain way, synchronicity or subtle knowing, not through logic alone. When something lights you up or breaks your heart, that's your soul speaking. There's joy, creativity, excitement, curiosity, passion, inner peace are all green lights. Dread, depletion, contraction, incessant roadblocks, signal red lights. So the more you follow things along this nature, the more you'll be aligned. And the more you encounter these, the more likely you are acting in misalignment. Because the soul thrives in authenticity. The more you act from truth, the more the soul leads. It's like a reinforcement. Action is the language of this universe, of our reality. From the 3D perspective, the more you act on what the soul tells you through the joy, creativity, excitement, curiosity, passion, inner peace, green lights, the more your soul will feel like, okay, it's listening to me. And then we'll provide you more. Soul alignment doesn't feel like control. It feels like freedom, clarity, and quiet power. You don't need to become your soul. You just stop pretending to be what you're not. And you can't truly become your soul because you already are your soul. Spiritual surrender is a topic in spirituality that many people tend to misunderstand because of our typical definition of surrender, as in giving up or whatever. But for the true definition, it's not trying to have control from the physical mind, from the ego perspective, and allowing the control that's built in to function naturally. You're not separate from your soul. The things that it's trying to lead you to are going to feel the best for you. I gave this example the other day. Life is an orchestration. You can play how you want, but the notes laid out for you will harmonize the best with the rest in the orchestration. Next concept is the illusion of control versus the power of alignment. Stop trying to have power within the illusion. This is trying to make things happen, trying to be in charge. And when we want to instead use the power of the illusion. Through our alignment, things would just come to us to further on the road to our true selves. So illusion, control is reactive. Alignment is magnetic. You want to let go of micromanaging outcomes. The physical mind is not meant to know what is going to happen, only what is or has happened. The higher self can see what is available to you. You want to stay centered in uncertainty by trusting resonance. It's often said that when you're on the aligned path, you don't feel like you know where you're going, and that's a good sign. Trying hard does not equal being in your power. One of the biggest lies we are told is that success requires the grind, the sacrifice, pain, struggle. It does not. As you act from alignment, what you need comes to you through flow and synchronicity, and any effort is magnified and multiplied. A bit of a disclaimer here is that this is associated with what you need versus not what you want. We rarely know what we need from our wants. So if you are wanting things a lot but not seeing them, it may not be needed for you. That's a little disclaimer there. Positive beliefs, why they matter and when they don't. Remember, beliefs are filters that shape what you can perceive and receive. Positive beliefs are not meant to overwrite fear. They reframe reality and expand your access to what's possible. We want to watch out for toxic positivity. Positive beliefs need to feel true in your body. And you may need to use steps instead of an elevator when dealing with beliefs. So an example is telling yourself you're an amazing XYZ when it's obvious to you in your reality that you're not quite at that point yet. So the next step down would be telling yourself you're working on becoming an amazing XYZ, which is a lot better and it feels more true to yourself. You can test beliefs for alignment instead of just affirming them. If there are negative beliefs and structures still underneath, then forcing a positive belief will create dissonance. So, starting with addressing negative aspects first is the most important step from the last session. That's why we want to recognize our negativity and be able to address those, because after clearing those out, these positive beliefs will naturally fall in. And then we can work on creating even more positive beliefs from those. Does it feel like relief, truth, calm, and clarity? And then those are our tests. There's many more tests, but these are the main ones. Do you feel expansive when you accept a new belief? That's the sign that it's aligned with you. Your reality reflects your beliefs. A truly held belief shows up in how you act, think, feel, and choose. So one of the ways negative beliefs perpetuate themselves is convincing you that you've actually aligned with the positive version of itself when it's actually just misdirecting you. So you'll be able to find when that's happening when you notice when you're acting, thinking, feeling, and choosing things that are still aligned with the old negative beliefs. So next we have positive beliefs about self-identity and worth. And we'll introduce a quick permission slip here. Affirmations are positive statements used to counter negative thoughts and beliefs with more empowering ones through repetition, encouraging positive change and boosting self-esteem. These work through more scientific elements by rewiring your brain. The brain is very plastic. If it receives reinforcement over and over, eventually it will come to accept that. And so that's one way to rewire yourself. And some you can use are, I am more than what I've been through. I am a soul having a human experience and I choose to show up fully. I don't need to earn my worth. I am worthy by nature of my existence. This is part of the law of I exist. I exist. Existence doesn't make mistakes. Therefore, if you exist, you are worthy of existence. I am enough. I love myself. Sovereignty and guidance affirmations. I trust the part of me that already knows. This will be a big one for most people, is giving up control from the ego mind and trusting in the heart mind, the messages from the higher self. I am always being guided by the intelligence within me. I no longer outsource my truth. I live in it. Does that mean that's taking on baggage from other people instead of your baggage? Remember, your baggage weighs nothing. Your baggage is meant to be with you. Other people's baggage weigh you down. I won't allow doubt to keep me from following my passions. Affirmations for joy and purpose. Joy is my compass. What excites me is what aligns me. When I do what I love, I become who I truly am. My purpose is not a job, it's a frequency I carry into everything I do. The only thing I need to be is myself. Everything else I do is an expression of myself. So, for example, you are not definition-wise, say, your job, right? But when you're aligned, everything you're doing is an expression of you. So that takes you closer to being your true self. For trust and healing, some affirmations are nothing in my path has been a mistake. It has all brought me closer to my truth. I release shame and honor my life's unfolding. Every part of me is coming home. I am worthy of love and respect. I am valuable and deserve to be happy. I can trust myself and my intuition. So remember from session 3, we had this list, the best methods of addressing false structures. Number 1 is letting go of what is not you, removing those negative structures. So now we'll focus on doing what you love. Mark Anthony, the wise man, said, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. I just got the notification for time, so be ready to join the next session again after the time runs out. Sometimes the most spiritual people have no idea or concept of spiritual practice. They found what their passion was and they never let it go. So no matter what the outside world told them, they knew that whatever their passion was the right thing for them, and they acted on that. Some examples are famous musicians like Prince and Michael Jackson. In the science field, you get Einstein and Newton and Tesla. They were led to be great because that was their passion and they followed it. Okay, so how do we get to do what we love? I know some of us have issues with letting go of external responsibilities and following our passions. So first, understand that doing what you love is a navigation system, not an escape. One of the best ways to address your negative structures is doing what you love. This includes following your excitement, passions, curiosity, things that allow you to experience your higher emotions like joy. This is a built-in GPS, not a luxury, a necessity. A necessity. Ignoring this leads to friction, poor health, misalignment, etc. It takes you down paths of resistance rather than flow. So as a built-in GPS, your excitements will sort of guide you to the path of least resistance, even if the path looks longer. Synchronicity may come in to make it the shortest path. You never know. And it's not your job to know. It's your higher self, soul, that will know and will always guide you if you're listening to it. The feeling of excitement as a sign of highest alignment, but not always ease. Excitement and anxiety share the same type of physical experience. Be careful to not be deceived by confusing anxieties as excitement and excitement as anxiety. One of the main questions to determine this is when you're feeling it, does it feel expansive or contractive? This is one of our main determiners within ourselves for a lot of our systems. So I think we have an example of this later. So let's say that for then. Doing what you love may feel scary at first, and that's normal. Your physical mind has been built up to tell you that following your passions isn't safe or won't support you. It will use fear to keep you from expanding because that's taking you out of your comfort zone. It wants to keep you safe, but that's also keeping you from your alignment. So using your joy, curiosity, and inner fire, you use, does it feel expansive or contractive versus your dopamine or ego-driven distractions. Doing what you love isn't selfish. It's your clearest path to contribution. When you're fully aligned or getting closer to alignment, you'll notice that what you want to do will be things like service, serving others, because at a higher perspective, you'll know, and I'll have a session on this soon, that they're reflections of you in this reality. There is no other. So serving others is serving yourself. Serving yourself is serving others. Excitement, ease, and resonance are the language of the higher self. What you love changes as you evolve. It's not static, it's living guidance. You may find that your passion for something dries up, and that's a sign that you've taken on what you needed to take on in the moment. And since you don't know the plan may be to get you involved in certain areas to build experience so that you can later excel in something that pulls all those areas together. One example is personally, I had sporadic drives to start a YouTube channel, to start uh, teaching sessions, to start a job that required me to be in leading roles. But sometimes those passions dried up. But as I'm doing now, you see that those sort of interests have fed into my capability to provide this sort of information, this service to other people. So don't be afraid of doing things and then those things drying up. It's just a sign that there's more and possibly even better to come. This doesn't mean that you won't face challenges. It means what you face is always right for your frequency. And then always remember that following your joy or excitement does not mean abandoning responsibility. Next, we have a quick permission slip on reframing. Reframing involves seeing a situation or challenge from a different perspective. It's a way of changing your mindset or interpretation to find alternate meanings or possibilities. In psychotherapy, it's used to help clients change their thoughts and feelings to be more positive and constructive. It is a permission slip as it allows you to be more like your true self by helping you to redirect your beliefs about situations towards the positive. Remember, the true self is never negative. It knows enough to know that negativity in all forms is basically a lie, as I mentioned in session 3. So how can we identify some energy leaks and soul friction, basically parts of yourself that are going against the grain? You can ask yourself, where do you say yes when you mean no or don't actually want to? You can identify where your sovereignty is being outsourced to what is not from you. You can reframe things to from I have to I choose to or I get to. A common example of this is chores that we get to do in 3D physical reality. How much easier would they be if you're saying I get to do these because I have enough clothes to have to do laundry, right? What is the energetic cost of staying in misaligned environments or relationships? What is the energetic cost of keeping yourself away from aligned environments or relationships? So what keeps people from starting, following their love, passion, etc.? Fear of failure, judgment, or success, even. So yes, some people fear success. They have beliefs that don't serve them, such as getting a lot of money will change me, or money is the root of evil, something like that. You can't make money doing what you love. If you go in with that belief, if you understand your beliefs shape your reality, you will experience that doing what you love can't make you money. You may be misidentifying purpose as one big thing instead of a series of daily choices. Doing what excites you happens at all levels, all the time. At any given moment, are you choosing to do something that excites you or not? The more you do something that excites you, the more aligned you will be. And it can be as simple as going to sleep. Don't, I was saying this is throughout your day doing what excites you the most. This can be even simple things such as going to sleep, not ignoring when you're tired, listen to your body, uh, choosing to eat instead of not eating, ignoring the hunger, um, choosing what you're doing next during the day, reading a book, being creative in some way, not because you have to, but because you feel the alignment within you that this is truly what you are meant to be doing. Don't compare your passions to others. Don't compare your progress to others. If you have the need to create something, do it for yourself, and whoever needs it will see it or come across it. So, how do we get to it physically? Be able to recognize your energetic readiness versus avoidance. Sometimes this means walking towards fear. So an opportunity, say, pops up, you say, I'm not ready for it. That's avoidance. Alignment would be readiness. Even if it's scary, you take the steps toward it. Asking, what's one step I can take toward what excites me, even if it's small? This gets your foot in the door. How many times have you hesitated to do something, but once you actually did it, it was easy? There was no issue. That's because your negative ego was throwing up all sorts of issues and problems in your head that had no relevance to actual reality. Be honest with yourself. Is it a no because it's wrong, or is it a negative structure interfering? You can use your nervous system tools to calm survival impulses around change. So micro alignments, do 5 minutes of the thing you're avoiding. Once you get into it, you'll find, oh, I can do this for 30 minutes. I can do this for an hour. I can do this forever. Many people find they have beliefs that something is not for them. A common one is meditation. Like, oh, I have never sat for 30 minutes being quiet. And they believe that that means that they cannot do that. And then after getting to it, they discover, oh, I can go on for an hour. You can do breath work or grounding before action. Presence activates the flow within you. That's why we do this grounding before the sessions. We can get you into the state of presence where time starts to feel like it just passes easily and quicker than usual. That's a sign of being in presence, that your sense of time gets slippery. You notice this when you're having a lot of fun and you're like, oh, it feels like I've only been out here 30 minutes, but it's actually been 3 hours. Um, if you release perfectionism, doing it messy is still doing it. Doesn't matter what it looks like, you're doing it. You can get better with time. It doesn't matter. You can check in with your inner child to see what you love. What did I love before learning to judge it? What did you do as a kid? As children, we have less ego structures, and we are typically closer to our more natural state. And we're naturally gravitated to things that we will love doing throughout our lives. Next, we have loving what you do. This is different from doing what you love. This is targeted toward all aspects of life. And it's the alchemical choice to bring presence and appreciation to whatever you're doing. Sometimes you can't immediately do what you love, especially when not aligning fully. You still have some hesitations, but you can love how you do what you're doing. You can reframe mundane and necessary activities from have to you get to. Reinforces gratitude. You can include aligned activities like mindfulness, music, singing, dancing in your chores, everyday activities. You know, put on some music when you're doing chores and time starts to fly by because you're being present. If you have to walk the dog, do mindful walking. Notice what's around you, notice yourself, notice your breath. And this turns your everyday activities into something you can love doing. Loving what you do means bringing awareness, intention, and presence to your actions. And this mindset creates new pathways, upgrades your frequency, and often magnetizes more aligned opportunities. Big circle around this one. When is this sort of permission slip powerful? When you're in jobs, roles, obligations, situations that aren't aligned or preferred. Don't invalidate your experience, though. So, what can you do during your job or during doing things that you're obligated to when you're in situations? What can you do to act in alignment? So one thing is I do is I mentioned like I'm always keeping myself in a meditative present state. So all day long I'm doing something that I love. When waiting, say you're waiting for transitions or change or lines or traffic. Basically, if waiting is a state that keeps things from happening. In the WhatsApp chat, I shared that that's in the yellow category. So during all these things, you can still be working on something that you love, that excites you, to pull you out of that waiting state and being in the doing. And that will paradoxically lessen the waiting state just by the feeling of time passing, changing. When you're building toward a bigger dream, when you're healing your relationship with discipline, and then later alignment. And here's some reframing to support this. I bring love into what I do, and that transforms the doing. This is a stepping stone, not a prison. I choose to honor this task as a sacred act of devotion to my path. And we have a Zen Buddhist quote that's related to this topic. Before enlightenment, you chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, you chop wood, carry water. You feel the intonation difference there? Same actions in 3D reality are going to be there whether you're enlightened or not, but how we choose to approach them makes all the difference. Spiritual actions exist in the everyday life. The physical is not separate from the spiritual. Why is that? Because the soul creates our reality. So, in essence, it is the spiritual energetic in a different form. Our reality is generated from the soul as crystallized energy. Our science even knows this, even if they haven't recognized its connection to spirituality. You may recognize the property in E equals mc squared. Energy and mass can be converged. That must mean they are of the same essence. And there's more conversions that science doesn't know about. But essentially, your spiritual reality extends into the 3D to create this reality of your experience. So we reached today's integration invitation, some sovereignty practice. And before that, we have a quick permission slip. Journaling. It offers a space for emotional expression, self-reflection, and stress reduction. It can help with identifying and processing emotions, tracking triggers, and developing more positive self-talk. And the reason it's pretty good is that it creates a sense of separation where you can more objectively evaluate what is going on within. So you write, take a few moments or however long you want and come back to it, and then you see it as something separate from you, which you can then more recognize. Ooh, that might be off. Ooh, that might not be aligned. So we want to start our practice of, in each moment, choosing what honors you the most, choosing what is exciting you. And remember, excitement doesn't mean you have to be super excited in the typical terms, but doing what you love, it may even be peaceful, what brings you peace. That's a form of excitement. Don't get stuck in thinking that every moment has to be ecstatic, but doing what is aligned with yourself. Sovereignty doesn't require a complete life overhaul, just consistent inner alignment. Things may change, things may not change. Depends on how aligned you were before becoming aware of it. You can practice tuning into your body truth versus mental noise. This is basically, does it feel expansive or does it feel contractive? And then you can practice through role play or journaling. What would I do if I trusted myself 10% more today? And then we built up a list or idea of what is negative in our lives, what sort of negative labels, definitions we have in everyday life. So now what sort of reframing can you try to practice to address those? Okay, do we have any questions for today? All right, we have one question in chat. Question is, you mentioned getting excited about something or not getting excited is your soul talking. How do you know when it's your soul talking and not from external factors? So one, we want to use our internal guidance compass of whether that feels expansive or contractive. Remember that the idea of excitement and anxiety sort of share the same space. So you have to be honest within yourself, truly get underneath. Am I acting out of fear or am I acting out of expansion? Does through your shadow work or journaling, does this thing come from outside of me? Have I been told in the past that there are things I should be doing, things I have to be doing, that XYZ people don't do this, don't do that? What are your labels and definitions that are maybe affecting your choices? So the soul communicates mostly through the higher frequency energies. So if you're feeling joy, peace, expansiveness, if you're familiar with that feeling, you can take that as a sign to move forward, even if there's fear involved. So you really have to get down into who you are to check whether it's aligned with yourself or not, right? Because there's no external guidebook that's going to tell you how to be you, because everybody is unique. Does that answer your question? You feel satisfied with that one?
Yes, thanks.
All right, awesome. Any other questions? All right, I'll go ahead and move into our weekly long meditation. I wonder if I should use this screen. We'll go ahead and stick this screen. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can remember our previous grounded state. Hopefully, with time, you'll be able to remain in that grounded state every day, at all times. But for now, let's begin by arriving fully into the space and into ourselves. Take a deep, steady breath in through your nose and exhale through the mouth. Let's take another deep breath in and out. Let gravity gently hold you. Let the outside world dissolve. With each breath, feel yourself dropping deeper into the body, breathing in presence. Breathing out everything you don't need to carry right now. You are safe. You are here. You are home. Now let's bring your awareness to the center of your chest, maybe a bit between your heart and spine. We'll call this your heart space. Imagine a gentle light there, like the picture we had up before. Soft, familiar, timeless. This is where you connect to your true self beneath the noise. The presence that has always been there, watching, guiding, waiting patiently to be remembered. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not your roles or mistakes. You are a soul, an essence, wise, sovereign, and whole. Say silently to yourself, I am more than what I was told. I am the awareness beneath it all. Feel this truth vibrate softly in the body. No force, just remembrance. And let your awareness expand from the heart outward. A subtle energy field surrounds you, your sovereign space. In this space, you choose what enters. You choose what stays. Breathe into your sovereignty. And say inwardly, I own my energy. I own my story. I am allowed to be fully myself. And begin to feel the quiet power of not needing to prove anything. There's nothing to chase, nothing to perform, just you rooted in your truth. This is your power, your ground. Now gently bring your awareness to your belief landscape. Imagine you're walking through a field where signs have been placed, each one a belief. Some you planted, some were placed by others. Find one sign that says something like, I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. I don't know what I'm doing. Pause and look at it and breathe. Ask gently, is this true? Or is this something I learned to believe? Now imagine rewriting the sign, not with a fake affirmation, but with a true next belief. Something like, I am learning to trust myself. I am worthy of growing, even if I don't have it all figured out. Feel how the energy shifts in your body. Walk further and replace some more signs. Choose some beliefs that feel expansive and real. Let this be a field you can return to, your conscious belief garden. Now bring to mind something that you love to do, no question. You just love doing it. Every time you do this thing, you're lit up, you laugh, you feel joy, you feel bright, you feel expansive. You never want to leave this something that you're doing. It doesn't have to be something impressive. It doesn't have to be something real even, like daydreaming. Something that fills you with lightness, joy, or deep presence. See yourself doing it. Feel the flow of being in it. There is no audience here. No outcome to achieve. Just the pure act of creation. Movement, being. Say inwardly, when I do what I love, I become who I am. Say it with me. When I do what I love, I become who I am. My joy is a signal, a path, a remembering. And now ask gently, what's one small action I can take this week in alignment with this joy? Let the answer arise softly. Don't force it, just listen and trust what you hear. What is one small action I can take this week in alignment with this joy? Now bring to mind a current task or job or responsibility in your life. Something that you do regularly that maybe you've grown tired of or disconnected from. Go ahead and breathe into the idea of it. Not to change it, but to reclaim it. How can I bring more presence, intention, or care into this? Even if it's not your dream, you can still bring your soul into it. Visualize yourself doing that task again, but this time from presence, not pressure. From choice, not obligation. From alignment, not avoidance. And say inwardly, loving what I do doesn't mean loving the task. It means loving the way I show up. Loving the way I show up. Just take a minute here to visualize other ways you can incorporate your excitement, your love, your passions into things you do every day. See yourself enjoying those things, enjoying the way that you show up. Okay, let's go ahead and start to bring our awareness back to the breath, back to the body, the floor beneath you, the air around you. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. You are not the same as when you began. You've remembered, realigned silently to yourself. I am my soul embodied. Choose what I believe. I follow what lights me up. I bring love to what I do. Let's take one more big breath. And exhale. Bring love to what I do. When you're ready, feel free to open your eyes and try to keep a present state throughout the rest of your day. Hope it's a good one for you guys. Thank you all for joining. Love you all.